Good morning, everyone. This is Brooke Rouse from the St. Lawrence County Chamber. We're very excited to be with you today as we enter small business season, as we are promoting this year. Often Small Business Saturday is a one-off day where we really try to encourage people to shop small, but we realize that this is the season. It's not just one day, but it's the season for small businesses, and we're joining a lot of chambers across the country and the world in promoting this small business season. So we hope that you'll hop on that, and you can see the hashtag there and use that to encourage that this season. As we know, it feels like Christmas might be far away, the holidays are far away, but they're not, and they seem here much earlier this year. So that's why we're encouraging the season, especially this year. So the St. Lawrence County Chamber is here to help with small business, all business development and promotion, and also tourism promotion. And today's focus is really on this holiday season and boosting your sales this holiday season. So I want to just keep a couple of things in mind today that we'll reiterate as we go through the presentation. And really want you to embrace these as you're thinking and planning for the season and really for your business year round. But we're kind of being focused on this next 2 months, this fourth quarter, that's really important for a lot of businesses. So again, especially right now, as we continue to move through a different phase of the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of shifts in retail and business in general. And it's important to think about what makes local and small businesses different from those online big box stores. And I'll talk about local, but I'll also talk about small, because I think that if you're a small business, you have an opportunity to reach out beyond the local market, and hopefully you're doing that too. And most importantly, supporting local businesses. But if you don't have a chance to shop local, we hope that you're also thinking about shopping small, and you can do that in a lot of different ways by supporting small businesses across the country and the world. That are small and online, and that kind of concept, and be thinking about that in the reverse with your own business. If you're online, and you can be marketing and promoting that small shop small idea. So what makes us different? And the other thing is making it easy for the customer to support you. You can't just assume that everyone should just support you. You need to put a little effort into you need to put a little bit of effort into making it really easy for them to support you, and appreciating that. Changing with the seasons. Again, we're approaching this season, not just small business season, but winter season, holiday season. It's a new season. So we'll talk about some ideas in being mindful of timing and how you can promote your business this season. And planning ahead. Sometimes I feel, I'm also a business owner, sometimes I feel like I'm already behind the 8 ball, but you can only do your best. So that's why we wanted to host this the first weekend in November, because you still have a lot of this season to go. And planning now, literally now, like this week, can really benefit you in a lot of ways going forward. So these are some of just the general concepts that we're going to keep in mind as we go through some more specific areas of opportunity today. Again, if you're just joining us, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and ask questions throughout. I'll try. I've got 2 screens, so if you see my head going left and right, that's I'm looking at the chat on that side. So feel free to continue. Oops. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Feel free to chat questions in the box there. Okay, so kicking right off, I want to encourage you all to not be shy about selling the idea of shopping small. That general concept can never be said too much. And the more we all say it, the more we lift each other up. So I want you to be really mindful of that, really just drive that home throughout the season and all year, but certainly this season. I think last year, we felt people step up and recognize the power of shopping locally, and we don't want them to forget that this year. So keep that in mind, keep saying it. Some of the things you can remind people of: that there's no shipping cost or an unknown wait time. Small businesses have a real advantage. Local and small businesses have an advantage now of being available now, not in an unknown time, which is what we're seeing online in a lot of online marketplaces. And when I say online marketplace, I'm talking about the bigger box. We really encourage people to be selling online, small local businesses to be selling online and promoting online and buying from others online. But we're talking small business here. Remind people that you support the community year round. Use Throwback Thursday as an opportunity to remind them of ways you've sponsored Little League teams, or you've hosted different fundraisers, or you've supported different causes. Brag about that, remind people. It's not, don't be shy about that. You should really remind people of that in a subtle way, but in a nice way. Remind people that shopping local allows them to come into a store, to feel, to try on, to touch a product, and that's a huge value that you don't get online. And promote the idea of buying from a real person. Incorporate your story, make sure that there's a bit of a face to your business, and take the time to make posts about you or your employees, so that people can make that connection. And we'll talk more about relationships as we go on, and the importance of that. But that's not to be taken for granted. That shopping small, shopping local is buying from a real person that might be your neighbor, your friend, your colleague, and that's important to remind people of. And reminding people to invest in the businesses that they want to have in their community. Often we'll see people say, "Oh, I wish we had this business or that business or this business or that business." And my automatic response is, well, every dollar you spend is an opportunity to invest in the businesses that you want to be in your community. And, again, I think there are ways to do this in a nice way. You don't want to be aggressive or negative ever. But thank them for investing in your business. In my business in the shop just this weekend, I encouraged people. I said, thank you for investing in my business. We've been able to grow because of your support, and that makes a difference. And so I've used it in a way by thanking those in the community. Again, any questions, feel free to type in. So, very important. Human relationships are the key to in-person shopping. You're not going to get this experience online. So it's really, really important to think about that. And if you're someone who's selling online, again, we hope you are, through social media or through your e-commerce that you're selling online, you can bring those human relationships into the way you interact with people online. Again, it's big box online versus this small business online, but also that in-person shopping. So I just included this key selling point. It's sometimes called the key selling proposition, but it's just important to remind ourselves and keep in mind that the selling points that are your company's strengths provide an obvious benefit or value to the customer. So we don't want you to feel like being salesy is a bad thing. Hopefully your business is providing a solution and an opportunity for your customers, and you shouldn't be shy about that. And you want to just remind them of the benefit and value, and be able to provide that as an in-person shopping experience or small business online. So a couple things to think about, and a lot of this has to do with customer service. So customers are more likely to buy when their dopamine levels are high. So when they feel happy, when they feel relaxed, when they feel positive, they're just more likely to buy. So you want to create, those feelings and experiences in your store or online. You want to make your customer feel comfortable and good about their experience, always remaining positive no matter what. You don't want your customer to feel pressured when they're in your store. You want them to feel good about the experience, which will then encourage them to buy. So a couple of more specific tips in terms of customer service, which may seem obvious, but we like to reiterate them. And even in preparing for this presentation, I learned a couple of things that made me kind of pause and think about how we're interacting with our customers at my store. So you want to acknowledge the customer as soon as they arrive. Make sure they know, there's a person in the store and they're being welcomed. Hello, welcome to the store. And then you want to give them a little bit of time to just orient and find their space. You don't want to jump in right away. You want to kind of let them come in. They know you're there, they feel welcomed, but then they're kind of just getting their bearings in your store. So give them that little time. And then try to think, and this might change for each business, and you can take some time to think about what you like, what makes the most sense for your type of business. And I know some of you online on here today are providing services. You're also possibly selling online only, or you're doing trade shows, or you're selling in different ways. So some of this stuff you'll have to relate a little bit. I am speaking kind of in terms of brick and mortar stores, but I hope you can take some nuggets and apply it to how you're selling. And we can talk a little bit more about that at the end as well. So the concept of thinking about open-ended questions and conversations that you can have with your customers to build that relationship. So you absolutely have to say hello, welcome, give them some time, but then you don't want to leave it at that. You want to have a little bit of exchange with those customers so that they feel that relationship building. If they don't buy anything this time, that's fine. Building that relationship is going to provoke these feelings that are hopefully going to bring them back, or going to encourage them to tell somebody else about your business, which is just as valuable, that word of mouth. So one idea is, what brings you into the store today? So instead of just saying, can I help you find something, which is okay, trying to expand on that to think about, are there questions that you can ask that are more open-ended? What brings you into the store today? They might say, we're just visiting our college student and checking things out. Oh, great. Where does your student go to college? That opens up the conversation to build that relationship. And again, you don't want to distract from their buying experience. You just want to follow up with a little bit of conversation, and then hopefully relate it to your product. Oh, we have these cool posters that would be really neat for a college dorm. Or is your student into art or whatever? These are some new products we have that might be a fun gift to remind them of their college experience, whatever the case may be. So again, what brings you into the store today? Well, it's rainy and we're just out and about. Or I've never been in here before and I've wanted to stop. Awesome, welcome. We started a year ago, and this is what we do. So thank you for coming in, and let me know if there's anything else. So that what brings you into the store today really gives you a great opportunity to engage with your customer on their level. And hopefully you can do this if you're doing sales online or over the phone in different mediums that might be more limited. But even in your ability to chat over social media or things like that, where you can start to have that conversation, what interested you in this product or this business. Another thing is to say, can I tell you something about the item? So just giving them a little bit, adding that value to whatever they're looking at. So if it's, something that's handmade, you could say, this was made by someone in Colton, made out of, products from their property, something like that. Or this is made from this type of material, or this is best used in this way. So again, you can kind of add value to their shopping experience and the actual product itself. Another thing is just thinking about your body language. Again, this is a lot of in-person selling, but things you can think about and maybe relate to the online experience. So it's good to be present, but one tip I learned recently was standing behind a desk, just kind of waiting for that sale, kind of puts up a wall with the customer, and it creates this kind of pressure that's not even said. So one tip was to make yourself kind of busy around the store while that person is in the shop. If you're straightening up products, or you're stocking more shelves, or you're you know fixing up a sign, or anything like that, so that you're within kind of the verbal reach of your customers, so that if they have a question, they can access you quickly, or if you can see them touching or looking at a product, you can add that extra comment. But that kind of idea of being active in your store while the customer is there, versus being behind a desk waiting for a sale, is a little bit of a different body language in building that relationship. So that was an interesting thing that I learned that I thought was made some sense. Again, any questions, feel free to type in the chat. And, if you have comments or thoughts along the way, feel free to type those in so you don't forget. And at the end of the presentation, we'll pause the recording and we can have some conversation as well, which will be fun. So again, just pulling out some ideas that are, we know everyone has limited time and limited funds potentially. And so we try to think about ways that you can really leverage, again, this season specifically, but things that will benefit you year round. And I did, whenever I think about the word cost, I always recognize that your time is also a cost. And so you need to evaluate and prioritize some of these tactics based on not just time, but money. And so being mindful of that, and certainly for us, appreciating that is important. So a couple things you can do that shouldn't take a lot of time, but can have a really big return on investment. And again, thinking about when the seasons change, it's always good to kind of check yourself to make sure, when was the last time you've done these things? I just went in and did a lot of this for my business, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have, 8 months has passed since I've done this. Time just flies by and you don't realize, and it's like, wow, this needed a lot of updating. So go in and update your online listings specific to products of this season, specific to your hours, if any of that has changed. Update some of the photos to make sure they're seasonally appropriate, or if you have new product lines, things like that. Make sure your Google, your Yelp, all of your listings are updated and have that fresh content. Google has really expanded on what you can put on your listings as well. You can put posts there now. That's a great way to list products, to talk about different areas of your service and what you're offering, to do that. So if you have not claimed your Google listing, do that. Absolutely, because that takes time. They have to physically send you a postcard. But hopefully, if you are listed, get in there, see how things look, and you might be surprised, as I was, and say, this is an opportunity to literally spend 15 minutes to make a really big difference. Google's very powerful. Using brand names in keywords. So whether that's on your website, whether that is on your social media, whether that's on your Google listing, is very important. And I know that some of you here are promoting, you're creating handmade items. So brand names might not be as important or relevant, but also just being mindful of keywords. And again, checking that listing, making sure, if when you talk to people and you say, what do I offer? When you introduced yourself today and what you offer, are those keywords all in your online listing very specifically? And again, brand names in social media or specific keywords in your social media, because when people search for something, it might even show up in a social media post. If you have it in the image of the post, it's not necessarily going to show up in a search. So always make sure that the words are in your post as well. As a chamber, we certainly encourage you, if you're a member, to update your profile. All of our members have little microsites and they have the opportunity to update all of this information, hours, photos, keywords, things like that, that should be, again, seasonally appropriate for what you're offering now. Change your images on your website. If hopefully you have a website or you have an online store in some way. We also have shopstlc.com, which is an online marketplace if anyone's interested in that. But you want to change and update your website to the season. Again, if that season is winter, if it's holiday, however you want, having those pictures so that when someone comes to your online store or your online presence, they see that you're active, you're in the season, that kind of gets that feeling going again that we talked about earlier with the in-store experience as well. And this all comes back to the ideas that I mentioned in the beginning. Make it easy for your customers to support you. Make sure they know what you have, and be relevant and timely with the season. So likewise, updating your social media. It's a very easy way. Open your About tab on your social media page. You may have set that up when you opened or when you launched your Facebook page or your Instagram page, and you may not have revisited it. You're just focused on your posting and that sort of thing, and you haven't looked at that lately. So you might be able to add your website that you now have. You might have a physical location. You might have a different phone number. You might have a different category that you want to be promoting this season. So get in there and just update that basic stuff, and don't forget about that when you might be busy thinking about how you're posting on social media. Again, your cover image, your profile image, you can be mindful of that with the season and kind of provoking that holiday cheer and that positive vibe that we're trying to share with our customers. That online presence is very important, even if you don't have a website or an online store. The other thing is asking for reviews. I don't think that people think of that as a marketing tactic, but it absolutely is. Search engines recognize reviews, and it legitimizes your business online. So putting that out there, again, making it easy for your customers to support you. It costs them nothing, a little bit of time, but we all know as I say, productively procrastinate online and on some social media platforms. So just make a point to schedule and ask for reviews. You can just blatantly ask for them, or you can direct them with a link to your Google page or your Facebook. Another nice way to do it is to share someone's review. So if someone makes a review, you can share that on your post and then thank them and say, your reviews mean a lot to us. And that is a way that it can really boost your business. It's no cost to them. It's no cost to you. It's just a reminder that makes a really big difference when it comes to especially search engine optimization, but also just that word of mouth and encouragement of your customer base. And starting to build that customer loyalty. Some other kind of simple marketing tips. You always want to make it easy for your customer. Again, that's a really important part of this. We want them to support us. We need to make it easy for them. So in your posts, we talked a little about products and we'll talk about that a bit more, but remember to state your location, your hours, parking, any specific things that might be helpful to the customer to come to your business. The way social media continues to change the format, it kind of keeps us on our toes. But I'll often see a business post a picture, and for some reason it comes across my wall and it's like, wow, that looks like a great sandwich, or that looks like a great place to stay. And I cannot find where it is. And I, like many of us, the social networks, you might have friends all over the world. So you're getting feeds from all over the place. You don't know if that deli is down the road or if it's across the world. You don't know if that B&B is down the road or across the world or in one of your favorite destinations. So in your post, just remind people of where you are. And remind them of your hours. Yes, they can go into your page. Yes, they can click the about. Yes, they can go onto Google and find your hours. But why make it difficult for them? Make it easy for them to find that information. If you're operating online, remind them how they can buy from you. Remind them that they can order through Facebook Messenger or however your ordering options are. Remind them that they can make an appointment by clicking here or calling here. Just make it easy for them and recognize, think of your own behavior. You don't always take that extra step to click on a few different websites or click into their actual page. You're scrolling quickly. You want to see what you want to see so that you can support them. Similarly, draw people to your online store and social media, in your email marketing, or simply in your signature on your email. Every email platform, whether it's just personal or not, you can add a signature and include a link to your business Facebook, your website, whatever you want to do. So a lot of people will launch an online store and they're like, I have an online store. But it's your job to continue to make sure people know that they can buy online. Again, there might be people who want to shop small. They're not in the local area, but they're looking to support small businesses and they'd be interested. Or there are a lot of local people who would prefer to order online if you're offering curbside pickup or local delivery, anything like that. That's become very popular and is a good option for a lot of people. So make a point to share your online store URL. It should be in all your about information and all of that, but reiterate that on your social media posts. If you're doing email marketing, which is extremely valuable, again, those links, if you're sharing photos, if you're sharing new products, make sure it links to your online store if you have one. Again, just your email signature, your name, business name, URL to your shop. Those little things make a big difference and just make it easy for your customer to support you. Another kind of simple idea to, it's not always simple, but another option is to create events. And when I say events, I don't really mean a huge event. I mean, having something very simple in your store to promote what you have going on there. So it might be a demonstration, it might be a book signing, it might be an artist on site, it might be a preview of your winter products, it might be, if you've got all your holiday decorations up, that could be a kickoff to Christmas event that you can create you can create as a Facebook event. It's really kind of more of a promotion and kind of kick that off, encourage people to come in, share that. Again, when you're creating an event, I always encourage you to say kick off to Christmas, Potsdam, because it's not, you don't want to make people have to go in and click those events to find out where it is. They might, but very quickly, if they see it's down the road, then they'll make a point to go. So thinking creatively about that, can you create kind of these mini events in your store or online. You know, if you're an artist or you're a creator and you're producing something, can you do a pop-up at a different shop? Can you attend a trade show and promote that event to others? So just thinking about that in a creative way that might not be a big production, but it can draw people to your store and give them an extra reason to come in while also featuring your products. Now this one is a little bit, this one is a little bit more work, you might think, but videos are extremely powerful. Again, it helps create that personal relationship, whether you're in person or online. And it also helps you really focus on your products, which is something that we're going to talk about a bit more. So one idea for a video, if you're like, I thought about doing videos, I don't feel comfortable, I don't know what to say, like who cares to see my face, whatever. So here's a specific idea that you could do over and over and over again. So you create a video, could be very short, and pick one product, one of your best sellers, and we'll talk about best sellers a little bit more. So pick that one product. You know, hopefully you can set up, you know, a tripod or a selfie stick or whatever. Again, this does not have to be formal. People appreciate that authentic small business flair that you have in your videos. And so pick that one product, be ready to show it or wear it or use it, and just talk about 3 special things about that product. You know, who made it, how it works, the color of it, whatever. So think about 3 special things about it, and then always include, you know, where they can find you, when they can come, your phone number, your website, anything else kind of calls to action. So again, for those who are on here who are offering a service or, you know, hospitality or whatever it might be, that can certainly relate to you. You know, if it's a specific trip, what are 3 special things about it? If it's an overnight stay, what are 3 special things about that? If it's a cooking class, what are 3 special things about it? And then if it is a product or an event or a program or a promotion or a fundraiser, that video can just include what are 3 things you really want your customer to know about that one thing. And so I'm sure you can imagine you could do a video like that for a number of your products or services, and then schedule them in to post, you know, 1 a week, 2 a week, however ambitious you are and comfortable about that sort of thing. So it really helps to add a little flair to your marketing. It allows to put a face to your business that lets people start to build that relationship. And it just draws people in a little bit different, makes you different, again, from those big box stores and online options. Collect emails. If you're not yet collecting emails in some way to do email marketing, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. Email marketing is one of the most powerful ways that you can reach your customers, build loyalty. You know, those are the people, if they've been customers before, if they've been inside before, chances are they want to be engaged with your business. So if that means having a drawing, you know, if you're having a drawing in your store, make sure they include the emails. If you can create an you know, a link to sign up for email using Google Forms, something simple, or if you do have an online marketing platform like Constant Contact or MailChimp or one of the many others, you know, sharing that, encouraging people to sign up. You can incentivize them to sign up with a prize or something, but those emails are extremely valuable. They in looking at the value of an actual business in terms of selling it or promoting it, your email list is extremely valuable. You know, otherwise you have to find those people, you have to build, you have to market broadly. But if those are people who are starting to build a relationship with your business, make sure that you're in touch with them in whatever way possible. And email marketing is a whole another opportunity we could maybe have a webinar on, but really be thinking about that. The other thing is promoting early. Again, this year especially, I've noticed that those big box stores are they are full on Christmas pajamas and the works. And I'm like, it's, this was before Halloween. And so I'm one who does not like to push holidays. I like to wait for one to the next to the next. But that's not the way. If we're competing with those bigger retailers and that's what they're doing, or those bigger destinations or those bigger service organizations, they're promoting now. We need to be promoting now so that people who are planning, or they're maybe they weren't planning, but now they see it and it's in their face constantly. Now they're starting to think about their lists. Now they're starting to think about buying and ordering and planning for whatever gifts or trips or whatever the case may be. So it is time, if you're not doing it yet, this small business season, this holiday season, now is the time. So we'll talk a little bit about timing again. Again, if you have any questions, comments, you can type them in and we'll circle back at the end as well. So focusing on your best sellers. This is something that I've learned in a couple of the training and podcasts that I watch and all of that, or podcasts that I listen to, and really trying to think about this. And if you are someone who maybe has really one product or a few products, then this might be easy. If you have a retail shop with thousands of products and ever-changing products, it might be a little bit more challenging and you're going to have to think about it a little bit more. But think about this 80-20 rule. So typically 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your products. Those are your best sellers. That's how you figure out what your best sellers are. So if you have a point of sale system where you can really look at that, if you have a way of tracking the number of things you sell, and again, it's profit, it's not necessarily quantity, but profit. So what are those best sellers? Can you think of 3? Can you think of 5 of your best sellers? And really take time to think about this because it can make a big difference for your business. So once you've identified those best sellers, this is what you're going to want to do with them. You're going to want to update your website, your social media, your email, all with images of those best sellers. And if you can hire a photographer, or if you have a comfortable way of taking the time to take nice photos, you're not going to take photos maybe of every single item in your store. You're not going to take photos of just broad images of your inside and outside. You're going to make sure that you get quality photos of those 5 best sellers, and so that you can use them in all of these platforms and update all of your visual presence with those items. If you're doing advertising, print, online, or radio, focus on those best sellers. You can't mention the thousands of products in your store. Focus on those best sellers. Physically, you can prominently place those best sellers in your store. Online, you're promoting it, and they walk in your store. You don't want them to search for it. It's right there. This is what I came from. It's right here. Be mindful of your margins when discounting. So again, if you know what your best sellers are, they're going to sell. Don't discount yourself. This is a season of demand. This is a season when people are purchasing. You certainly have other ways of creating loyalty and bundles and upselling things as add-ons, things like that. But don't discount your best sellers. And be really mindful of your margins when or if you are doing promotions, so that you're not selling things during a season of demand at cost, for example. Think about the hook products that get them in the door. Again, those best sellers are what's going to get them in the door. So you want to really push those, and you really want them to be right there when they come into the store. For social media, you want to be mindful that whatever those bestsellers are, and now you've got your really nice photos and hopefully develop some content, maybe those little videos about your bestsellers. You want to feature those every 9 posts. So that might seem like a lot, but the algorithms have changed with social media, and you're not seeing everything that's being posted, and you want to make sure those bestsellers are making it into the feed of your customer. So really be focused on, every 9 posts, are you promoting one of those bestsellers? And it could be even more frequently. So I think this concept of bestsellers was an eye opener for me, and it's something that I continue to try to be better at. But really be mindful of that, and just take some time to think about that and write a little bit, make notes on that. So I've mentioned planning ahead and that we're here. It is the season. So it's not too late, but it's getting there. So, if you do anything this week, pull out a calendar. You can find online just blank prints, or if you have a physical calendar, if you like to work with online calendars, print out November, December. If your season runs into January, February, that's fine. Maybe looking into February, because that'll be another season of retail. But print out these so that you have time. If you're scheduling in those little events, the book signing, the Christmas lighting, the whatever, write those in. If you're going to promote certain bestsellers at certain times, write those in. If you are, open on Monday through Friday, and every Monday you want to launch a video, write that into your calendar. This helps you be really mindful of time. And I just feel like time goes very quickly. If you don't have it written down, you're not seeing it visually, you're going to miss an opportunity. And when you do this and you kind of lay out your calendar of when you're going to do your promotions, when you want to be thinking about what people are doing, if there are other events in your community, if there are school breaks, if there are other things like that that might impact your selling, mark those things down. Be mindful of, is that an opportunity time? Is that not an opportunity time? Should I promote then? Should I not? Those sorts of things, so that it's all laid out. And then what you want to do from there, ideally, is go in and start to design those promotions. So if you're good at design, or at least you've got to get those pictures in time for that. If you're interested in a somewhat simple, fun tool, Canva, Canva, is an online tool that you can do kind of graphic design for dummies. You can upgrade your account, add your colors and logos, and get a lot more from it. If you just block off some time to say, all right, I've got my 5 things on my calendar, I'm going to go in, I'm going to create them all now. They're all going to look branded. They're all going to have the same kind of holiday season vibe. When people see this, they recognize it with my my company, my brand, my shop. And by doing that all, once you've got your calendar, they're ready to go. So if it's Sunday night and you're like, oh no, it's Thanksgiving week, I was going to promote this, but now I have to go in, I have to design it. What was my plan? Da, 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 da. And then you don't end up doing it and you miss the opportunity. It's gone. So this is why planning it out, taking the time to put those promotions together, put some of those posts together, get the photos you need in time, allows you to then go in. And with social media, you can schedule things. So if you want to be really proactive, you can go in and say, all right, it's designed and it's scheduled for November 21st, done. That way there's no questions. It's going to go live on that day. And if, there are ways to learn more about that too, that would be another webinar. But yeah, so things to think about, but planning is very important. So that was a lot. But again, I just want to reiterate the common themes here, things to be thinking about. So what makes your business, what makes shopping small, shopping local different from those online big box? Find positive ways to talk about that with your business, and don't be shy about reminding people. Make it easy for the customer support to support you. Make sure they know where you are, when you're open, where they can park, what options are available online, curbside, in-store. How do they contact you? Make it easy for them to support you. Change with the season. Make sure you're updating all of your information, your images, your promotions for the season. You're relevant, you're open now, you're active now. Change with that season and really embrace this small business season. And plan ahead right now to really make the most of the season in all of the ways that we talked about. So I want to thank you all for joining us. We're very happy as the St. Lawrence County Chamber to be hosting these webinars. This is recorded and will be available. So if you want to review it and go back and hopefully be making some notes and taking some action for your business, we'll make that available. Our website, if you're interested in being a member, finding out more about membership benefits. For example, we have a discount on Constant Contact. If you're not doing email marketing and you want to get into that, you can see all of that on slcchamber.org. My email is brooke@slcchamber.org, so you can reach out to me as well. And really embrace this small business season and use that hashtag, and by all of us encouraging that this season, we can all bring each other up and make sure those dollars are staying in our communities and staying to support small businesses as well. So thank you all for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording, and please feel free to stay on to have more conversation.